What's up guys and welcome. You are watching Fazi Fitness. So Blessing Avudibu and Behrouz were spotted in Behrouz Gym Dubai training together, going through a leg workout with Chris Cormier, who by the way is the trainer of Blessing Avudibu. So both these guys are very different bodybuilders, with Behrouz ceiling way too high compared to Blessing. But both these guys have pretty much the same weakness. The legs need to come up big time to match up to the upper half for both these guys. So Blessing has been training with Chris Cormier since the one and the only show that he did in 2025 season, the Legion Sports. But this is the very first time Behrouz trained with him, and Chris Cormier really pushes the elite pros beyond that pain zone, beyond their comfort zone. And from what we saw at the Olympia this year, the debut of Behrouz, in order for him to be a top 5 guy in the world, he will have to put on some considerable size, especially on his quads, so that he can have a better balance and so that he can create that X-frame, that V-taper, which is something that is missing from him so far. Now Blessing on the other hand, he has a big question mark on his future as a men's open pro, whether he will be able to step back on the biggest bodybuilding stage in the world again, whether he will be able to qualify for the Olympia and win another show or not. Because the harsh truth is that he took such a big break, a very long off season, which was about 1.5 years long. And he showed up, I'm gonna say, with zero improvements in his last show. In fact, I'm gonna go as far as saying this: he looked better back in 2022 when he won 2 pro shows with George Farah, the Indie Pro and the New York Pro. But on the flip side, the competition that year, that wasn't this stiff. We have seen so many new young guys coming up very fast and also improving at such a fast pace, and Blessing is having a hard time keeping up. And it isn't just about the gains. Blessing has to make sure that he shows up in a top-notch conditioning, which is something that's also missing from him in the past couple of years. Now Behrouz will be a multiple times Olympian. There are zero doubts about that. And maybe if he did not have that tooth infection leading into the Olympia this year, he probably would have placed higher at his Olympia debut, maybe in the top 10. Let me know what are your expectations from both these guys in 2026. Before you scroll or blink too hard, have you subscribed yet? Please don't make me bring out the emotional blackmail. Hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell icon. It's free, it's painless, and that makes me look way cooler than I actually am. The 3 times 212 Olympia champion Keone, who just made his men's open debut in Prague Pro this year, he just reflected on how it went down for him, and he seems to be very satisfied with the results of Prague Pro. So the biggest accomplishment was that Keone and his wife, they peaked for this show all by themselves, and they were able to make sure that this time he had a tighter midsection compared to what we saw at the Olympia this year, because it was very clear that even though Keone won the Olympia, he wasn't really satisfied with the look that he presented against Sean Carida this time. So having parted ways with his all-time coach, Patrick Tour, and still being able to show up better in every aspect, and that too in just 2 weeks' time, that is something Keone and his wife, they should be very proud of. And yes, as per the fans and the expectations from the media, Keone did place lower because we were all expecting him to battle it out for the top spot with Martin and Samson Dauda. But the fact is, Keone himself, he never claimed that he was the best body on the planet. His initial stance on Prague Pro was that he just wanted to show up and see how he compares and how he stacks up with the big boys in the men's open. Now people have a different viewpoint on Keone's future now. Guys like Dave Palumbo and Chris Aceto said that he should not switch over to open class because that move will make him risk blowing up his waistline. Because the one thing that we can all agree after Prague Pro is that in order for Keone to be a top 3 Olympian in the men's open, what he needs the most, that is more size, more density, and more muscle maturity. Now on the flip side, the guys in the 212, especially the top guys, they are again at a disadvantage now because Keone is gonna continue to dominate that 212 division for as long as he wants to. Brett Wilkin posted the first physique update after his Olympia debut this year, so he was unable to crack top 15 at his debut Olympia, and Brett's placing that proves one point. All of these IFBB pros, they look amazing, absolutely humongous and shredded, 2 weeks out or 3 weeks out, when they aren't being compared to someone else and all these other top guys. So Brett was 100% on for the Olympia this year. He was in an awesome overall condition, as always. And if you look at his track record, he has been a very consistent bodybuilder all throughout his career. But as the head judge Steve Weinberger said, the Olympia just isn't about who is the most peeled guy on the stage. It's also about the overall size and the ability to look big on the stage. And that is exactly where Brett lost a lot of ground, and he got marked down against all these other big boys. He isn't among those guys who's very wide or who take up a lot of space on the stage. Now surely he was a few pounds heavier compared to his last show, the Legion Sports, where he earned his Olympia spot, and that was actually last year. But we all know the Olympia, that is a tough show for most of these guys, especially on their first try. And not everyone is Martin or Nick Walker. So he does look in a very good condition in the maintenance phase. Now we do not really know what his future plans are, whether he gets back to the drawing board and comes back sometime in 2026 to have a go at the Olympia qualification, or he enters a show like Japan Pro, which is about 4 weeks from now. All we know is that he looks to be in a very solid condition 2.5 weeks post-Olympia. So Mike Sommerfeld responds to all the Brazilian fans because they have been spamming all those dinosaurs on Mike's IG. But this is exactly what we expect from a top classic physique guy, from a potential champion. So this also confirms that Mike has zero intentions of switching over and change divisions. The man is 100% focused on getting that classic physique Olympia title next year in October. Now, as the judges described this, that it was a very close battle between Mike and Ramon, and both these guys are very much interchangeable any day of the year. And Mike is extremely professional in terms of how ripped and how lean he stays throughout the year, especially in that post-show phase. So we have seen him guest posing at Mexico Pro this year, 1 week after the Olympia. And even right now, when he must truly be in that health phase, he looks very impressive. So this guy loves to compete, and it's a high likelihood that he will be coming back to defend his Arnold title in March next year and also go for that big paycheck. And with Mike's new weight cutoff, which is about 8 to 9 pounds lighter compared to last year at the Olympia, he won't be blowing up in the off-season, as now he is 100% maxed out. But the good thing is that him and his team, they know that now. So the judges could have flipped the coin and Mike would have been the 2025 Olympia champion. I guess that's a plus point. That only 1 point separated Mike and Ramon. And that is going to be enough motivation for Mike Sommerfeld to push even harder for 2026. So hit the thumbs up button if you liked the video and smash the subscribe button if you wanna come back for more. Thanks for watching.